Hi guys, we're now analyzing Euro JPY and we are on the monthly chart. The first thing that I can see in regards to this particular chart is the fact that we have, just bear with me, we have, we have this particular W structure, as you guys can see, and it had a neckline at this level more or less, and we saw that price had closed above this particular neckline and then came back down to retest the neckline, and at this point is where we would have looked for potential buying opportunities, and our take profit would be this level over here, and that is because it's the previous all-time high, right? I hope my drawing makes sense, and I hope what I'm saying makes sense. I'm just gonna add a neckline to that structure, so just bear with me while I do so. This is the neckline of that huge W structure. Just gonna make it a blue color. There we go. Right. And as I said, guys, price broke to the upside of that neckline, came back to the neckline to test it, and this is where we would have looked for potential buying opportunities, and our take profit should be, or rather our first take profit should be this level over here, and that's because, as I said, it's one of the previous all-time highs, right? Anyway, it's also a very strong level of resistance at this point in time, and what I will do now is also mark that area, so just bear with me. Let's see, there we go, more or less, there we go, right. So what else do we see, guys, in regards to the monthly chart of Euro JPY? Another thing that I see is that as much as we had this huge W structure over here, I hope that you guys can see that we also had at this level a W structure which also had a neckline at the same area, right? So we had two W structures having necklines at more or less the same area, meaning that after price came back to test that area, this whole area was a very strong level of support, and we were supposed to look for buying opportunities, as I said, and to this level as our first take profit. Anyway, let's proceed. From here, what I'm going to do is head down to the weekly chart. However, before I do so, let me just also point out that we have this candlestick over here. It is a bullish candlestick with a small body and a relatively long upper wick, which tells us that we have liquidity at this point, at this level rather, and it tells us that the market needs to keep moving up to trigger that liquidity, right? Anyway, let's head down to the weekly chart, and here we are on the weekly chart. Let's just zoom in. So what do we see on the weekly chart? On the weekly chart, we can see that price has been moving in what seems to be an upward trajectory, right? And we can see that it's been issuing spikes to both the bottom side and the upside, and these spikes tell us that the market has been stop hunting as it has been going up and down, right? Anyway, let's proceed. What else do we see, guys, in regards to this particular chart, which is the weekly chart? On this chart, I don't see much at this point in time, although I will just also point out that we have at this level a liquidity candlestick. It is a bearish candlestick with a small body and a long lower wick. So we have liquidity at this point, and it is quite possible that in the future price may head to this point again to grab that liquidity and then possibly push further up. Anyway, I don't see much on this actual chart. I'll head down to the daily chart. Let's have a look. Here we are on the daily chart. Let's see. The first thing that I'm going to do in regards to the daily chart is actually add my daily channel. So let's have a look. How would I add my daily channel? I would add it in this manner, so just bear with me, guys, while I add my daily channel. So this would be my daily channel at this point in time. There we go, more or less. Right, there we go. Right. So what else do we see, guys, in regards to the daily chart of Euro JPY? Let's see. Another thing that I can see is that price had created at this level a head and shoulders pattern, which had a neckline at that point. We saw price breaking to the bottom side of that head and shoulders pattern and then hitting back up to test that neckline. And at this point, we would have looked for potential selling opportunities. However, we can see that price pushed further up, right? And had we sold actually at this point, we would have been taken out of the market, right? Because the anticipation would have been for price actually to move further down to complete this structure over here. And I would have loved to see price come to this level to close at this point. And that's the very same level where I said we have liquidity at, right? Anyway, let's proceed. And just keep in mind, guys, that getting a trade wrong is not a bad thing, right? Just make sure that you exercise good money management and you make sure that your discipline is up to standard. Anyway, let's proceed. So what else do we see, guys, in regards to the the daily chart? At this point, I don't see much, although I will just point out also that at this point we have another liquidity candlestick. At this point as well, we have another liquidity candlestick, right? So there is scope for price to to move down, right? And as I said, it may happen that once price gets to that previous all-time high, we might potentially see a reversal of sorts. But right now, I don't see anything interesting else in regards to the daily chart. So what I will do is head down to the H4 chart. However, before I do so, let me just also point out that there is a possibility that price may form a head and shoulders pattern, where this part is the head, this is the left hand shoulder, and we might possibly get the right shoulder at this point, right? And this would make it a head and shoulders pattern, right? And if we get confirmation, we would look for selling opportunities at this point, and our take profit would be this level over here, right? Anyway, from here, what I'm gonna do is just head down to the H4 chart, seeing that I don't really see much of interest on this particular chart. Let's see. Let's have a look. I'm just gonna fix my daily channel, so just bear with me. Right. Okay, that should be fine. Right. So here we are, guys, on the H4 chart. And what do we see on the H4 chart? In fact, before we continue, the first thing that I'm going to do in regards to the H4 chart is to add my H4 channel. So let's have a look. So here we go, more or less. Just bear with me, guys, while I fix my channel. I would have my channel in this manner, right? There we go. I would have my channel in this manner. And the reason why I put this line here and not there is because the day is still ongoing, and what may possibly happen is that price, because we can see that it has closed above this point, may come back to this line to test it, and at this point we might see it push further up, right? Let me just redraw that. At this point we might see the market push further up, right? Anyway, let's proceed. So what else do we see? Another thing that I can see is that we have this zone over here, and it is a very strong level of resistance, as you guys can see, and we might possibly see a reversal at this point. I'm just gonna add a line to that area. Just bear with me, guys, and just remember that support and resistance are zones and not so much lines. So we can say that this whole area here is our resistance area. And as I said, what may possibly happen at this point is that the market may push slightly down to just test this trend line, and then it may push further up, right? So we just need to be cognizant of that. However, I wouldn't be looking for buying opportunities at this point. I think it's a bit too risky. And also to add to that, in as far as the H4 chart goes, I don't see any buying or selling opportunities at this point in time, right? But what I would do at this point is to wait for price to sufficiently close above this area, and once it does so, I would wait for it to head back to this area. Sorry, let me just redraw that. I would wait for the market to head back to this area, and at this area I would look for potential buying opportunities, and my take profit would be this level over here, right? However, I would take my trade on the 15-minute chart, and yeah, that is it in as far as my analysis goes for Euro JPY. And just to go back to the weekly chart, in fact, let me go back to the daily chart. Let's see, I just want to have a look quickly. Let me go back to the monthly chart. Having said everything, guys, remember that I said that our take profit should be this level over here. This is our main take profit at this level over here, right? Anyway, peace out, guys. I hope what I've just given you makes sense.